Hey gang, so this is the next part of our lesson. So you've learned how to take a sample of data and collect it, and now what do we do with it? So we're going to go to something called the central tendencies, and we're going to measure them, and we're going to also look at something called a box and whisker plot, which I bet some of you remember from the 8th grade. So here's what's happened. Imagine you're interested in how many grapes there are on the bunches in a vineyard. So I know this is kind of hard to see, but these are little grapes. And imagine we wanted to count these. And we know that not all of them are going to have the same amount of grapes. And so what we've done, you can choose some bunches and count the number of grapes in each to obtain, say, the following numbers of grapes. These represent the number of grapes on a stalk. I guess it's a stalk. I don't know what you call it. I'm going to say a stalk. So here's what you're going to notice that you didn't have numbers over here. I'm going to read these to you because I kind of left gaps. You're going to write them down. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 21. I actually think I might have messed up just then when I said that, but hopefully I didn't mess you up there. If I did, just mark it off. Okay, what we're going to do is create something called a frequency table. And what that means is that you are going to take this 9 right here, mark it off, and you're going to come down here at 9, and over here you're going to put a little tally mark. Then you're going to go 12, and you're going to put a little tally mark. Mark off 15 and put a tally mark. Mark off 18, put a little tally mark. 9 again, and then 11. And you're just going to keep doing this until you mark off all these numbers. Now, magically, because I've already done this, you can pause the video and do it, but I'm also going to give it to you this way as well. I apologize, my son is playing in the background, so you get a serenade of a trombone while we work. All right. A frequency table is when you get a bunch of data and you need to group it together just to see what we can find out. So these are the tally marks. The frequency, how often it occurred. 1 little lonely grape occurred 1 time. 2 grapes occurred 1 time. 4 grapes, I had 1 tally mark, so 1 time. 5 grapes happened twice. 6 grapes happened 3 times. 7 grapes happened twice, and then so on. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to write these numbers kind of quick. I'm going to get my cheat sheet because I don't want to have to sit here and count them all. What number am I on? I'm on 9. Okay, so 2, 4, 3, 5, 3, 4, 3, 1, 3, 1, 1. Those are how often they occurred. So you kind of look at it and you're like, well, what do we know? It looks like the lower numbers didn't occur very often. The bulk of it was kind of right here. 12 bunches on the grape. Looks like 12 was kind of the most often. But it's kind of hard to really get a really good representation of this data. So we're going to call this, I'm going to say like the data is kind of unclear. I think it's too broad. So I'm going to say that the data, it's a bit unclear. It's too broad, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create bins. Okay? And what I want to do is put the grapes in the bin and make it a little like reduce the data. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to say the number of grapes on a bunch. I'm going to say 1 to 3. Okay? And then the next bunch of grapes, the next bin would be 4 to 6. So this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And now here's an interesting thing. The next one is 21. So I could say 19 to 21. I could say more than 8 or more than 19 since this one goes to 18. I'm just going to say 19, 20, and 21. And I'm just going to do it that way. But I could have said more or great. I'm going to put it over here. I could have said greater than 19. I could have said that right there. It means the same thing. Now let's do our tally marks again. So 1, 2, and 3. So all of these right here. So we've got 2 here. 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to go ahead and put that there. This was 2. And then we've got 7, 8, and 9. So we've got 2, 3, and 2. 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 for a grand total of 7. 10 to 12, 1, oh boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to go ahead and put that there. Definitely can see that that's the bulk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we just have that 1 right here. So now my data, it's a little bit different. I can definitely see the bulk of them right here. And I created these bins to put this in. All right, so this is called a frequency table. This one right here. Now they're both frequency tables, but when you put your tally marks and you create the bins, you've got a really nice frequency table. This is a frequency table too. We just didn't create bins on that one. I'm going to call this one table 2 and this one over here table 1. I'm going to highlight that so that we can we'll be using these tables throughout. And I just want to be sure that you follow which table I'm on. Okay, so table 1. Let's do this. We've made a frequency table. We've made our table. We made a frequency table. I want to do this. I want to make a diagram with this table right here with table 2. So this is going to be called a frequency diagram. Here's the thing to know. In a frequency diagram, if you go to make one, it needs to be proportional. And what I mean by that is my bins, I need to be sure. Do you notice how 1 to 3, it's 3 bins big, 1, 2, 3. The distance here is 3 units in each one. I want to make sure down here when I do this that I'm particular about that too. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. All right, I'm going to come over on this side and count by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and it looks like the biggest one it's going to go up to is about 12. So I probably will be able to just look at it from this angle here. All right, so the first bin we've got is 2. So from 1 to 3, we need to go up to 2. So we're going to go up to 2 grapes. These are the grapes. This is the amount. I don't think I labeled that on my table. This would be the grapes per bunch, and this, oh, sorry, I did that wrong. No, don't do that. I'm sorry. Oh, you know what? If you already wrote grapes, we'll just leave it like that. We'll just say frequency. How often they occurred. And this is the grapes per bunch. I can't write it down here. I didn't leave myself room. The grapes per bunch. Y'all can't even see me writing. I'm writing it so tiny. Grapes per bunch. I should have left myself more room. I didn't. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to go up to 2, over to 3, and I'm going to shade that in. Now the next one is 4 to 6, and there were 6 of these. So I'm going to go up to 6 right here. I'm going to go over to 6 here. I'm going to shade that in. This is a frequency diagram. Notice there's space between here. Because would you say that this is discrete data or continuous data? Well, I'm counting the grapes on the bunch. And if I'm counting it, isn't that discrete? Whenever you're doing discrete frequency tables, your edges will not touch the sides, 2, 3, on your diagram. These will be non-touching because it's discrete. Okay, 13 is going to go up to 10 right here. And then 16 is going to be 5, so not very tall. That one right there. Okay, 19 to 21, we're only going to have that 1 right there. And that is a frequency diagram with discrete data. There's space in between. Are we going to do one with continuous data? Yeah. What do you think is going to happen? If something's continuous, usually you have inequalities because you're measuring it. And this one's going to bump right up to that one. And we're going to get to that. Okay, so something I want to look at. Table 1. I want to look at some of this data here. Table 1. Okay, on table 1, how many grapes are there total? How many grapes total? Can you add that up and let me know? Well, where would you add it up? Well, you'd add up the frequency that they turned out, right? So let's see. There would be 1. How many had 1 here? Didn't 2 of, oh, sorry, I hate when I do that on my videos. 2 of them had 1. You know what? I need to grab my calculator on this because that's going to be a big number. Okay, let me get my calculator going. There he is. Here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to add up. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh, I'm just going to add all this up and see what I get. No, no. 1 grape occurred once, right? 2 grapes occurred once. So it's going to be 1 plus 2 occurred once. 4 grapes occurred once. 5 grapes occurred 2 times. So that means that's 5 2 times. So that's 10. 6 grapes occurred 3 times. So 3 times 6 is 18. 7 occurred 2, so that's 14. 8 occurred 3, that's going to be 24. 9 occurred 2, that'll be 18. I'm just going to start cranking these out. You guys get the idea. 60. 3, 3, 3, that's 39. Oh, I'm going to have to do that one. I'm going to do 14 times 4. I don't know that one off the top of my head. Plus, that's 45. 16. I'm going to do 17 times 3. 18. Now I know the answer. Hey, I got it right. 470. I wasn't sure if I'd get it right doing like that. So that was 470. Now here's the thing. Why did I want to add up all those grapes? Because I want to show you that when you do bins, when you shorten the data over here and create these bins, am I going to have the same number of grapes? And actually, I'm not. Because here's what happens. I give you this frequency table, and I'm going to call this table 2. And it's pretty interesting how this works out. Sorry, my son is getting really loud. And I don't have a door on my office, so I can't close it to make him quiet. I could yell at him to go do his door. He could close his door. Okay, when you have a frequency table like this, and you want to figure out what's the total, well, you don't know from 1 to 3. Now, pretend you don't know this. You don't know how many occurred on that. So what you have to do is take the middle or the median of 1 to 3 and assume that that occurred twice. So but the middle of 1 to 3 is 2, right? 2 would be in the middle. So I would do this. I would take those 2 right here, this 2, multiply it times 2, and then add it. So 4 to 6, the middle would be 5. 5 occurred 6 times. And then I would say 8 occurred 7 times, plus 11 times 12, plus 14 times 10, plus 17 times 5, plus, and we're going to, okay, now this one's a little tricky. This one depended on how we did it. Now we did 19 to 21 to keep it still the distance of 3. So we would say 20 once, but if you did it this way, you would say 19 one time. So depending on, it'll give us one more. I'm going to go ahead and do, we did 20 times 1. And we're going to add all this up. Now, the first time I did it, I believe I got 467, but again, it depends. I can't remember if I did it with 19 or if I did it the other way. So I'm going to say, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do some of these in my head. 4 plus 30 plus 56 plus, is that 121? 11 times 12 plus 140 plus 17 times 5 plus 20. 467. Now, are those the same? Like, no, this is 467 and this is 470. But do you see how doing this table, it really didn't disrupt our data at all. Like it really didn't make that much difference in our data. So the number of grapes per bunch is discrete as we can count the grapes. So I could give you a bunch of data and I could say, hey, create a frequency table for me, put it in bins, make the bins 3 units each. We would do this right here. You always want to make sure your bins are the same, very symmetrical. Okay? You wouldn't want to do 1 to 3, 4 to 8, 9 to 10. You definitely want to make sure these are symmetrical when you do it. All right. Turn it over. So that was some discrete data. What might happen if we look at some continuous? All right, we can do the same for continuous data. For example, consider the height. Oh, there's that height. That's going to be measurable of students in an IB diploma program at a particular school. The table below shows this data in the form of a frequency distribution table. The raw data has been grouped into classes. Now, we've already been given this. We just need to figure out the rest of it, right? So we need to do the cumulative frequency. And you might be thinking, okay, that's a new word. It is. So I don't think I have that anywhere in here. I'm just going to highlight it there because I didn't really write it anywhere. Cumulative. If you think of something that accumulates, it's where something, you accumulate the rain as it falls and you measure how much it's growing. Cumulative on this is going to be like the growing frequency. So we're going to start off, this happened, this height right here occurred 3 times. The cumulative frequency is going to be, we take the one up above it, which is 3, and we add the next one to it, which is 8. And that gives us 11. The next one, we're going to take the 3. I'm just going to take all of these. 3 plus 8 plus 6. I'm going to add that together and get 17. Now, the faster way to do it, 3 plus 8 is 11. 11 plus 6 is 17. Take this number right here. 17 plus the next one is 12. So that's 29. I'm going to give you a second to do the next one. I'm going to take the 29. I'm going to add the next number. That's going to give me 36. I'm going to keep going. 36 plus 4. Take that number, cumulative frequency. We're adding up the frequency that it occurred. It's really, really cool what you can do with this. 42 plus 4. And then the last one, 46 plus 5 is 51. Double checking my numbers, making sure they're right. Okay. So again, we can present this information on a diagram. This type of diagram, because it is continuous, it has a name. It is called a histogram. And on the histogram, the sides are going to touch. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a second and we're going to use this table right here. This down here is going to be the height. This right down here is going to be the frequency that it occurred. Let me move this up a little bit so I can get more of that in there. All right. So I'm going to go on the bottom. And some of you may have seen this where you can make this jagged. And I'm going to make this 140. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I remember when I did this. I made it a little trickier. Let's do, we're going from 149 to 152. I think I can do 10. 1, 40, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That will be 150. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That will be 160. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 170. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 180. And we're going up to 176, so I should be okay. On the side over here, I'm just going to go straight ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, so we'll just go that way. Okay. In this course, you will only meet histograms where the grouping intervals have, similar to what we did up here, these are the intervals, the same length, okay, or the same width. Let's put width. I like that better. In this situation, we're going from 173.5 to 176.5. That is 3 units. So for this particular example, 3 units is how much it's going to be. Now, I am going to change colors. I think I'm going to go to blue to do this. Okay, so this is going to take a hot minute here. We're going to go 149.5 to 152.5. Pay attention. See how this is less than, and this one doesn't have the less than, because this is repeated right here as equal to. This is very important. We're going from exactly this to this, but we don't reach this. We reach it here. This is a very good cumulative frequency table. All right, so let me zoom in on this a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. I'll try and put it in the middle. And here we go. So we're going to go from 149.5, so about right here. We're going to go 3 up. So 149.5 to 152, so 52.5. We're going to go here. I would pause my video on this. You guys hopefully can just fast forward it. My computer freezes when I do that though. So the next one goes from right here to 4, 6. So it would be right here. This is where I always mess up because I want to make sure it's the same length. 52.5. So that's 54. This one's 56, 58. And we're going to 55. So 54, 56. So it's going to be like right here. And we're going up to 8. So right there. Mine always end up looking a different width when I do this. Even though I know they're the same. But they're going to bump right up to each other. Try to make that look good. And then we're going to go 155.5 to 158, which is right here and a half. Oh, I should have looked. And it goes to 6 right here. Oh. 158 to 161.5. And this one's going, 12, all the way up to 12. 12's going to be right here. I guess you at least know the video is still going. Okay, 160, 162, 64, and we're going up to 7. One 167 to 1. Oh, I think I missed one. 164 to 167. So 62, 70, so 160. So it's like right here. Going up 4. 170.5 is going to go up to 2. 173. And again, hopefully you're probably just fast forwarding this. You're not watching it too for kind of painstakingly slow. Sorry. All right, there we go. Whew. Okay. Okay, so I do want to write on here that the columns touch, very important, since the data is continuous. Since data is continuous. I'm going to highlight that. Okay, the columns touch because the data is continuous. When we did the grapes a while ago, the columns do not touch because we are counting the data. Okay. So pay attention to that. If you're doing an IA about coffee cups and the amount of coffee somebody drinks and you create a histogram, no, it's not going to be that. It's going to be a cumulative frequency table because our columns are not going to touch and we're going to have discrete data. Okay, what can we do with like this cumulative frequency? Okay, we graphed it, we put it in the bins, we saw the tally, we graphed the frequency. But what about this cumulative frequency that we did? This where we added everything up as we went. Well, one of the really cool things you can do is, and this is where we're leading up into those central tendencies, is in the case of the height of the rectangle is proportional, or in this case, the height of the rectangle is proportional to the frequency. So the proportion here goes with this frequency right here. Here's what I want to do. I want to create a cumulative frequency table. I want to go from this information that we had up here at the top. You know, they gave it to us, this distribution like this. But what if I want to create something that I could put in my calculator? Because you can't put these intervals into your calculator. It won't work. I mean, it's super incredible data, and like we can get some cool stuff off of it. We can create a histogram using our frequencies. But that's about it. I can't do much more. So let me show you what we're going to do. We are going to create a cumulative frequency table. Cumulative just means you've added stuff up. Just keep these words. I know it's a lot of vocabulary, but just keep them in your mind. When you want to like take this and come out of this interval, these bins that they created. I want to go the other way. Here's what we do. Just like before, we're going to go in here and we're going to go right in the middle of 149.5 and 152.5. The dead center of that is 151. 151, because I don't know, it occurred 3 times. This interval, 3 things happened in there. 3 people fell within that data. I don't know where. So I take the mean, I average those, and I say it occurred 3 times. So I come down here and say this occurred 3 times. Then I go halfway between here, and this is going to be my 11, because I'm going to do the cumulative frequency. It's really cool what happens with this. So we're not using this. We're using this side of the table. In fact, I could go ahead and fill that in. The cumulative frequency is 3, 11, 17, 29, 36, 40, 42, 46, and 51. Okay, I've got that. But the height, I don't know because it was an interval. So I take the middle of each interval and I create this table over here. Okay, so the middle of 152.5 to 155.5, if I were to go in the middle of that, I get 154. This is the mid-interval. So, in fact, I'm going to write that right here. I'm going to say this is the mid-interval. Okay, that is the mid-interval. If you're like, well, how do I know the middle? I'm going to do this 54 right here. You would take, where did I go? 152.5. Like, where did that 51 come from? I would subtract off 140. Hopefully you already kind of know this. I mean, this is pretty basic right here. And it's the distance is 3.0. Half of that is 3.5. So you could take 149.5 and add half of that, which is 1.5, and when you do, you get 151.0. You could also just do it on your calculator, however you want to do it, but you're just finding the middle between those numbers. All right, you're going to notice you're going up by 3, right? 157, 160, 163, 166, 169, 172, and 175. Okay, this is the mid-interval. This is the frequency that it occurred, the cumulative frequency. Yes, though, 175 only happened 5 times, but cumulatively, we're at 51. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This blew my mind when I first started studying statistics and looked at this. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Okay, so I'm going to do my little sketch here, meaning that I'm not starting at 0. I'm going to you do that, and then you can start right here. My first one is at 151, so I'm going to do 151, and then I'm going to do 152, 153, 154, 155, 156, 157, 58, 59, 160, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, and again, if you just want to fast forward this, you can. 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, and then I'm going to stop there. And then on the other side, I'm going to do, I'm going to go by 2s. 2, 4, 6, I think that's going to give me enough. 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50. And we have to go to 51, so we'll be off just a little bit. All right, now we're just going to straight up graph it. 151.3. 151, this is going to be right here. This is really fun, y'all. I know you're like, wait, well, I'm really not as excited about it, Mrs. Day. We're just graphing, but it's so cool what happens. Okay, 154, and I'm going to go up to 11. So that's 10, 11, 12. So it'll be right there. 157 is going up to 16, 17. 160 is going to 29. Okay, 160. 28. 29 will be right there in the middle. 163, 136. 166, 40, 169, 170, 42, 172, 46. Is that it right there? Oh, no, one more. 175. There's 50, so 51 would be right here. Okay, we are going to connect this. Okay, that was a little bit off there at the end. That is a cumulative frequency graph. Okay, this is a cumulative frequency graph. Remember when you see cumulative, oh, it only has one M. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not very good at spelling, y'all. Cumulative frequency graph. Just remember, it's the cumulative frequency. It's all the data added up. Okay, that's super important that you recognize that word. Cumulative frequency, if you're adding stuff up, it's going to always grow. So if I wanted to know what is the average height of this IB class, what is the average height? The coolest thing is, average is the middle, right? What I do, I got to get this little reindeer thing off. He's kind of bothering me. What I do, 51. What is half of 0 up to 51? Well, if you go to the middle, so here we go. I'm going to take 51. I'm going to 51 divided by 2. I'm going to go to, 22, 24. So 25 would be here. It'd be almost, it's a little hard to do on this one. I would go over to the graph. Remember, I want to know the average height. I would come down. The average height is about, it's about right there. I put a little dot right there with a different color. Let's see, 57 was here, so this was 60. So 57, 58, 59, 60. Was that how we did that? 50, yeah, 57, 58, 59. So it's like 159 point something. If I were to take the average height from this table here, I would find that the average height was about 159. Does it make sense in here? This is where, or not in here, look right here, 12 occurred the most, so you would almost think it'd be right. Oh, look at that, 159. Wouldn't that be right in there? And that's where the bulk of them occurred. We're going to do way more. This is just a glance. I just want you to know how to make a cumulative frequency table. And I feel like you know how to make one. All right. Let me go here. I want to see if I want to make that video for this. You guys get stuck having to listen to me roll my papers. I think I'm going to stop the video there because my goal was just to make sure you know how to make a cumulative frequency table, which I think you do. I'm going to put that on the screen right there. I don't want to get this video any longer. It's already 39 minutes. All right. I hope you know how to make a cumulative frequency table here and create a graph. Add them up. Cumulative. Just remember, cumulative is accumulating. Okay? It's getting more and more and more when it accumulates. A cumulative frequency graph is going to always get bigger. It would never go down. That would be wrong. If you did it down, that's wrong. Histograms, the sides touch. On a diagram, when you're doing discrete data, they don't touch. All right. I hope that helps y'all.